Before we kick into that, let's just touch on a small bit of news, because if we are in the world of AEW, Collision's come in, and yes, I see the eye roll because I know how you feel about the guy already, but you can't be a wrestling show and not talk about it. Some wondered, would he come back? Some said Collision is built because he can't come back and get on with the other people who main evented this show. Yeah, that's right. Phil Brooks, aka CM Punk, will be returning to the world of AEW and will be kicking off, or will be involved in the first Collision show. Thoughts and I was going to say thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and comments on
We're
the
not
situation.
American. My thought is, yay! Not for me, for the wrestling fans that like CM Punk and stuff like that, because there's a show coming to the UK. There's a lot of people that have never seen Punk and get to see him live and see how slow he moves. But anyway, they get to actually experience something you never thought you would. So for all the fans of CM Punk and everything like that, I'm happy for y'all and for wrestling in general. And hopefully the Elite and Punk and his crew can work together and do business and make some real money.
Yeah, this is very interesting. Now, after the reviews of the American fans by Den and Nico, it's very interesting how the crowd reacted when they announced that CM Punk was going to be at Collision. Now, obviously, there were a handful of fans that were cheering, so you know they are like die-hard fans. Probably followed CM Punk in many other divisions other than AEW. And then you had the other section that were like booing as well. Now, it's funny because like that saying that Eric Bischoff said, controversy creates cash, and it looks like that's exactly what they're banking on here, or what they're cashing in on here. Whether he returns as a heel, it would work. If he returns as a face, well, it's questionable, but you know, it could still run, given that he may not be wrestling with half of the roster anyways. Whether that's a work, whether that's real life, I think it's good. I think what will make the difference will be, as Den said, when they come to the UK at Wembley Stadium, the UK fans are going to
Yes.
lose their minds. There is going to be such a pop. They're going to be singing his song. It's going to be really good. I mean, he could do something shocking and it'll still be like a very much warm recipient welcome from the UK fans, as we always do. We always outdo the US fans every time. But I think it's good for AEW. It's good for business. It's good for AEW. It's good for the fans. It's good all around. Even if it's for a short period, it's still good.
I'm torn. I've always been a Punk fan. Like from well, I say Punk fan. Actually, I have been. I've seen him in Impact. I've seen him in Ring of Honor. It was always a guy who caught my interest. It obviously boosted quite a bit in WWE. Come again?
He was in
Impact.
Impact.
He was part of Raven's Church.
Oh yeah, he was
Julio
with
De Niro.
what's his name?
Like Julio
Which
De Niro and Raven.
someone we were speaking about on yesterday's show. What's her name?
Mickey
Forget
James.
it. Mickey James. Yes, he
Mickey
was.
James.
James. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
so like he's always been of interest. I've always seen the guy like this is a bit of a throwback for both of you. The Wrestling Channel. Anyone remember that in the UK? We had the Wrestling Channel, and he was a face that you'd see quite a bit on it, and like it developed. So when he, you know, it's one of those names that when he signed to WWE, it's like, yeah, this is cool. That gimmick they gave him, where he was Mr. Anti-Authority and was building numbers up to and sometimes outdoing Cena, was all good. Even hearing him turn up for AEW like was awesome. Like it
That
was
was
good
good.
to go back, and I feel like that was the product built for him post his WWE departure. As Dan has said on numerous occasions, he is a bit of a problem child, and that's the part. It's not even so much the problem child because people are who they are. You know who you signed. This is what you can expect. But take that aside. I just didn't feel the same level of excitement I did as when he first signed with AEW, when he first walked through that curtain, when you first heard Cult of Personality, which is one of my favorite wrestling songs. You know, I know it's a song before that as well, but it's like, it will be cool. Am I happy to see him at All In? Hell yeah. But it just feels like it's lacking that magic that it did when he first returned, and I think that's the problem. He's kind of tainted who he is. There are some fans who won't give a fuck. It's like Punk's back, that's all it cares for. But I just feel like something's missing. It's not as grand as it was before. Yes, there was an injury, but it's not just the injury that kept him back.
Last time it
I
was
think
12 years. and people kept still chanting CM Punk. He was a new ECW chant where people just started chanting CM Punk, CM Punk, and then he finally came back. Look, I would not lie. I was excited when I heard what CM Punk's coming back to wrestling, and I watched that night when he came out, and I felt the goosebumps. Were like, oh my god! And then when I found out he was having his first match, was it against Darby Allin? I watched that one. I was like, oh my god, yes! I can't believe CM Punk's back in wrestling. And then the buzz wore off, and he was still doing the promos, doing everything we expected to do. It's just I stopped caring as much. But remember, I'm the wrestling news guy, the one that reads the dirt sheets pretty much and stuff like that. So I started hearing rumblings of him complaining about this, complaining about it. I was like, ain't this the same complaints in WWE? And I was like, two different companies, two set of people's working with, and got the exact same complaints about it. I'm like, maybe they're not the problem. But after a while, I started to sour on him really quickly, and then it just grew and grew, and then I just started disliking him. And it wasn't that he was a heel; I just started to dislike the guy, Phil. I don't know him, and I don't know if he's portraying a character, even backstage and stuff like that. But what he was portraying was not the guy I thought. And once again, I'm just putting my expectation on someone else, so it's on me. At the same time, though, Jesus Christ,
that is pretty much really accurate. Like really, really accurate. But my question on this is, if he's the problem, where's the help? Like, we all talk about mental health and all of that, and we can name a few wrestlers who have had problems and they have received the help that they've needed, and then they've come back rejuvenated. Whether they have willfully got themselves in trouble, whether it was in the business or whatever the situation is, they have got the help that they've needed. They've been given second, third, fourth chances, and they've come around. Now, some people have to learn the hard way. Yes, I get that. But how long has it been since that incident? And now time has gone. Hopefully, they've had their talks and they've solved the differences. But if he needs the help, if he needs to go and speak to a psychologist or somebody, like then do it. Give him the help. He's contributed so much to the business. I think whether he's right or wrong, regardless, like at the end of the day, if you admit that you're in the wrong and you need help, go and get the help. If it's just give him the support, really.
So what I will say, I'll let you finish that.
I was going to say, and if it's a thing where it's they agree to disagree, well then give him a short contract. Obviously, I reckon this whole introduction of CM Punk is just to boost the show. Give it a couple of months, he probably won't even be with the AEW anymore. I think it's just to boost the show because it's a brand new show, it's a brand new platform, and down the line there'll be other stars, maybe new signings, maybe people who have stepped up like Chris Statlander, that will be able to carry the show, either being the champion or being that high of a ranking star to carry the show. Like obviously there's more stars than CM Punk, but to start the show, obviously it's in Chicago, it makes sense. But after that, there'll be other stars to keep that show going. But I reckon that this run is going to be short.
Go something short and sweet. By the way, I start to think this is a work. The entire beef, the entire problem, the arguments, it's a work shoot thing where I think they do have problems, but it's not as bad as everyone think. The fight, only thing we can all agree on was someone got bit. Yeah, and that's the one person who is no longer there. But I think I 100% think they were going to work together. Look, Sean and they hugged each other in the ring. Brett, they hugged in the ring. Brett came back to WWE. Everyone, anything you think that could never happen in wrestling happened is always forgiveness, especially when it means payday.
Undertaker didn't like Sean, and now they're the best of friends. They're like brothers now. You can't separate them.
Yeah, this is where it goes, and it is exactly that. There's a lot in it. I believe that what happened at the time was genuine. The press conference was no joke. However, everything since then, I believe there are bridges built, and it's like, you know what? Let's keep them going. Let's see what happens if CM Punk returns to TV. Let's have people wondering. You've got more shows, you've got more revenue, and this is what it is. It's something to experiment of. What can we do, and how can we do it? There's something in it that's there.
Den might be right about that work situation though. He might have actually kind of hit the nail on the head, and I kind of have to give it to him because I saw MJF's promo after Double or Nothing. Now, obviously, he's shooting, but it to work. He's probably said to Tony Khan, "All right, just roll with me on this one. If anything, just act surprised at what I say." He was name dropping names from WWE, but it wasn't work. And the thing is the kind of shocked look that Tony Khan was giving MJF was like, "Oh my God, why are you saying this? How come you're saying this?" The same kind of look actually he gave CM Punk when they had that, when everything obviously came out, obviously. So then that actually might be right on this. It actually could be a work.
Plus, he was injured and he was going to go away. What better way to leave with a big everyone talking about you instead of just going, "Man, I'm sorry, I got to go away again. I'm injured again. I will go away, practice the buckshot lariat, and come back and do it once. I'm going to do it properly this time." I can't help it. I'm sorry.
No, but it's true though. It means something for your return. It keeps your name relevant. It makes it look. It creates a buzz. And one thing we all agree on. Our biggest time for wrestling was when we weren't aware it was fake. Then you start to realize that you're already in it. The more you develop, come again? Yeah,
don't use the F word on the channel.
Not the F word. It was predetermined. When you find out it was predetermined, and that's the thing. So now, when you have reality intertwined with fiction, you're on it. One of the things that I think, I heard about it through you guys, but it meant nothing to me because, and I know then you're gonna, out of all people, you're gonna be like, you're not gonna understand me. I couldn't give two shits about Eddie Kingston, really couldn't, right? So when it was this whole, what's he gonna be like with him and Claudia? Like, yeah, Claudia signed for AEW. It didn't mean nothing, but it had people watching because they were like, there's beef between the two. So it's always good to have a bit of reality mixed with your fiction. People wanted to know what happens when Edge and Matt Hardy are both sides to SmackDown now that Matt's back. Like, that shit's real. Like, it helps. It helps. So does it help AEW? Yeah.
And you know what, right? Certain people in the universe have them, or the galaxy, whatever you want to call it, have themselves to blame. You got people going around trying to tarnish professional wrestling like they do. Well, obviously, there's going to come a point where they realize this and think, okay, all right, well, let's change the game. There wasn't always an attitude era. There wasn't always a ruthless aggression era. There wasn't always a goodie and baddie situation. It has changed over the years, and if this is how it has to evolve, then I'm all for it, because if it can even get us questioning and it can get the population questioning, then they must be doing something right.
That's exactly. The letters that inspired these letters. You're damn right.
Oh no, I'm going for
WCW. Sorry, my bad.
WCW being thrown up. I know it was after it has already happened. There was NWO and all that, but having Brett doing the WCW in the air, I watched that show live and I saw him writing it, then him smashing the monitor, then it cutting off, and I'm like, "Oh, what's happening? This feels weird. This doesn't feel this." Which obviously took my intrigue, and instead of being a hater of someone, because I went, "Oh, I love you even more."
I mean, it was a weird time.
It's funny that AJ mentioned Edge and Matt Hardy, because I was taken in by that. Like, oh, hang on, this looks off script. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
Matt Hardy's Twitter game was so strong that day. I was just refreshing the page to see what was going on. Everything around Matt Hardy. Was it? I think it was his Twitter page.
Nah, Twitter wasn't around yet.
That's where he was tweeting when that happened.
Wasn't it
talking about the thing with him and Leader?
WWE.com.
Twitter wasn't around yet. Facebook wasn't even there yet. That wasn't a thing yet. Social, it was SMN. It was chat rooms, bro.
No, it wasn't even chat rooms. I know he had MattHardy.com, and I was checking that a lot. But I swear
PWR reports, bro. PW. Yo, I was deep in it right then.
MattHardy.com, I was definitely on.
That thing, they had the website, WWE.com, AEW.com, and you could go on there and interact, because that's how they did those polls when they wanted to choose who they think the WWE champion should be and all these other things back
Bro,
then.
I
So
can't-
maybe
what
it
are you
was
talking
that where
No.
you know,
Definitely MattHardy.com. It had nothing to do with WWE. But I
Matt
remember because he
Hardy.
had the page and he had removed all pictures of him and Lita. And my website used to be wrestlingexposed.com. Big up to them. Sadly, they're gone. Ryan Clark, I believe, was the guy. Anyway, long story short,
I remember.
I remember reading the thing and it was saying he told people, if you want to know why I took the pictures down, ask Lita. And everyone was like, oh my days, what did she do? And it started, and it was like all these different things. And I remember that's when it meant something to know the words Matt fucking Hardy, because he was like, I'm out for blood. And then you saw he got released from WWE. And that's when it went mad. The minute he got released, the crowd went ape.
Do you know what I would love AEW to do right now? I know we were talking about CM Punk and stuff like that. Do y'all remember when WWE had a chat room thing where people could go in there and you enter different rooms and you could just be chatting to other wrestling fans while watching Raw or stuff like that?
I never done that, you know.
It was so cool. You get to that bond with someone else while watching wrestling on your own.
Yeah,
YouTube
that sounds nice.
And they got rid of it because chat rooms died. But imagine AEW loved the old school stuff. Them bringing that back when CM Punk walk out. And it just be CM Punk and it just was scrolling fast. It's like having a YouTube page going live, but there's a bunch of different rooms.
That's interesting.
I want that back.
To co-sign you on that, then when AEW Dark and Dark Elevation used to be on YouTube live, there was a chat thing with it, but it was only with the live shows, obviously, because it's live. So you could interact with other wrestling fans, but the problem is that you couldn't get that with the weekly flagship shows or the pay-per-views.
That's where they had the separate chat rooms. But I'm going back to I'm showing my age talking about chat rooms. It's not about that right now. It's about what's his name? Centimeter Punk. Coming in there. You know, well, don't talk about sizes of the guys, man. Jesus.
But what I will say, just before we do close it off, overall, just general consensus and feeling, CM Punk,
I'm happy.
Back in AEW, good for business, bad for business.
Good for business, always good for business.
Yeah, controversial mastermind, good for business.
Do you know what? There's something about him, you know, and I say this respectfully, you know, you always have that one annoying friend, but you can't let him go. That's who he is to me. He's that one guy that you know is going to bring you problems, but you just can't help but have him around.
He's a straight edge heroin addict. He looks like a drug addict, but he's straight edge.
That's the biggest thing about him. It's so shocking. You look like, when they say never judge a book by its cover, you can show me. Okay, this sounds a bit bad. Let's go to a 97 Shawn Michaels and a current or in their prime CM Punk. You go, which one was addicted to drugs? Do you know what I mean?
The muscling one.
Like, whether he's a controversial mastermind or, you know, something else, at the end of the day, if he's keeping people talking like this, at some point he's going to be a certified millionaire. Either way,
he's already a millionaire.
I was going to say,
WWE made him a millionaire. WWE made him a millionaire, hence why he stopped wrestling. He had the money.
I was just making CM references.
I was going to say the CM, controversial mastermind. Punk. Controversial mastermind.
You've been too nice, man. You've been too nice.
Certified millionaire, exactly. There you go. Anyway,
that's that. And I just want to touch on one last thing that's out there. I've mentioned it on Silver Screen Dudes. Leon kind of mentioned it there. Guys, it's something that I don't ever take lightly. If you do feel that your mental health is not in the right place, it's okay not to be okay. Please go and check up with your people, reach out to your people, call people, seek the help you need. There is no shame in it. Even if you have to message the ministry and be like, I feel like shit, I will personally reply and say to you, yo, let's talk some wrestling, bro. What's up? If you saw me on Ministry of Wrestling, hit me up. We could talk. Takes a while with me. These guys can tell you it takes a while for me to reply. It don't matter. I will get back to you. It's just the way it is. We could talk wrestling. We could do it. But I always say try and get a little bit of professional help as well. It needs to be done. I can do what I can to reach you, but we need to find ways to channel correctly. If you cut your leg, you go see a doctor. If your head ain't right, you go see a doctor. There ain't no shame in it. Yeah.
I got a weekly appointment.
There we go. Hey, I've been there too. It is what it is. It is what it is, and that's there you go. There is no shame. It's okay not to be okay. You've just heard two men there admit it. Right.